Welcome to Justin's mini painting. I am continuing with the work on my Ork Pile of Opportunity. So, the last video I showed you priming these Ork boys. Now, one thing to note about these Ork boys, it seems, looking at the Warhammer.com website, that they are no longer available online, which implies there is going to be a new Ork Boys kit as part of the new 11th edition. Does this bother me? No, not particularly. Chances are that the new Ork Boys kit is likely to be larger in stature, shall we say, than the current boys which you're seeing on screen now. Because as usual, Games Workshop are pretty bad at doing scale creep. However, the good thing about Orks is we can continue playing with these regardless, because actually it fits nicely into the lore. All it means essentially is that these Ork boys are just less experienced than the new Ork boys kit, because they're slightly larger. As we know in the lore, the more battles that Orks fight and survive in, the bigger they get, until you get to the size of, well, yeah, the greatest war boss that we know, Gazgul of Uruk Fraka. You don't get any bigger than that in the Orks at the moment. Although there are a few other Ork bosses coming down the line for Windows 11? What am I on about? The 11th edition, such as the new model for the new speed boss, war boss, I can't remember his name. Boss Masker Gutsmech or something. I probably got kind of completely ruined my pronunciation of that name. But anyway, he's looks to be approaching on the size of Gazgul, so who knows. Anyway, at the end of the day, these boys, even if they can't be bought anymore, are absolutely still playable because they're just Ork boys. And as per the lore, they will just get bigger the more battles they fight. Anyway, let's just get the fan on. So apologies for any background noise. I don't know how good this new microphone I'm using is at drowning out background noise. But yeah, I'll crack on and actually start painting the skin of these Ork boys. I'm also going to paint the skin of these knobs. They were primed slightly differently a few years ago in spray can, rattle can grey. But yeah, we will crack on and see how we get on. Let's move these out of the way and then I can start airbrushing. So as you can see, I have now completed the base coating of all these minis. And they will need to thoroughly dry before I move to the next step, which will probably be using contrast paint of some kind. But you can instantly see why. Okay, this one needs to dry a little bit longer. But you can instantly see why I prefer doing a zenithal prime over just a plain rattle can prime. The colour ends up being way more vibrant for exactly the same amount of base coat, and you get far more in terms of contrast and shadows, natural shadows built up just by the fact you had the black and the light grey zenithal. So you can see side by side the Ork boys instantly look much better. Now, as we go through the next steps over the next few weeks, just to bring up the skin tones and all the other base coats and so on, that difference will reduce. But again, it doesn't matter if your Orks are different shades of green, because actually that's how they would be in real life. I mean, in some of these I will probably add a few little shades of pink or red or anything like that to, indicate sores, indicate injuries and scars, all those sort of things which just adds variety into the skin tone. Obviously at the moment they're all a bit samey, but even within a squad I'd like to have some variance of skin tones. It would only be things like the uniforms which would bring the squad unity together. So anyway, that's today's session finished. By all means do like, share, comment, subscribe, all those nice things that help the algorithm, and I will continue with another video to continue this series as soon as I can. This is Justin's Mini Painting, out.